Another day at Walking Street. And here we are with Adrian. Are you ready with a shout out? Or we're going to do the questions. I got some random questions for you. The $13 random question. What are the 3 territories of Canada and their capitals?
Wow, okay. Yukon, capital is Whitehorse. Northwest Territories, capital is Yellowknife. Nunavut, capital is Acolwin.
All right. And, well, I got a stumper for you that I threw in here. How about the 13 original states of America?
Oh, okay. Connecticut, Delaware, Georgia, Massachusetts, Maryland, New Hampshire, New York, New Jersey, Pennsylvania, South Carolina, North Carolina, Rhode Island, Virginia.
Perfect, right. And I'm from Minnesota, so here's a bonus question. What's the capital, flower, and bird?
Okay, state capital Minnesota, state capital St. Paul, state bird common lawn, state flower showing lady slippers.
There it is. Thanks, sports fans. Walking Street once again, and here we have Adrian's Nook for the shout out.
Alright, shout out to Not Quite Right, shout out to David and Chris from Hawaii, shout out to Ray Catley, shout out to Iggy and Portia from Minnesota, shout out to Mike from Fort Worth, Texas, shout out to Johnny from Wisconsin, shout out to Jeffrey and Denise Tukinga from New York, shout out to Tim and Rod from Washington State, shout out to Dan and Angie from Seattle, Washington State, shout out to Tat and Michelle from Illinois, shout out to Macdo from Sapaliputan, Angeles City, Philippines, shout out to Mac Lovelace from Alabama, shout out to Andrew from New Zealand, shout out to Sammy Sampaya from Hawaii, shout out to Pinay Daon, Alice Garland from LA Cali, shout out to Cory from Connecticut, shout out to Martin from Savannah, Georgia, shout out to Ed, Carrie, and Mariel Pineda from Ontario, Canada, shout out to Allen and Jay from City of Philippines, shout out to Brandon from Colorado, shout out to Nick and Mac from Hawaii, shout out to Glenn, Mike and Joy from Hawaii, shout out to Mason and Michael from Okinawa, Japan, shout out to Elijah from West Virginia, shout out to John from Washington State, shout out to Charlie from Queensland, Australia, shout out to Eddie from Sydney, Australia, shout out to Gary and Paul from Sydney, Australia, shout out to David Farmer from Italo Beach, New South Wales, shout out to Frank from Redondo Beach, shout out to Redo from Northern Cali, shout out to Australian guy, shout out to our Philippine Johnny, shout out to Fake Dixie TV, shout out to JPTV 3000, shout out to Filipina Bad Girl, shout out to Red Black Expat Philippines, shout out to the McLeod World into Philippines, shout out to Ace Passion Cool, shout out to Not Yet Adventures Blood, shout out to Focus in Asia, shout out to Single and Party. Thank you for watching, sports fans!
It's shout out time.
Shout out to Radio from Northern Cali, shout out to Sam McKelly from Cali, shout out to Mark Allen from Indiana, shout out to Andre from Georgia, shout out to Darren from Davao City, Philippines, shout out to Chuck from Temple, Texas, shout out to Alex from Daytona Beach, Florida, shout out to Mike from Fort Worth, Texas, shout out to Adrian Robinson from Sydney, Australia, shout out to Gary and Paul from Sydney, Australia, shout out to David Palmer and John from Italo Beach, Australia, shout out to Nick and Mark from Hawaii, shout out to Glenn, Mikey and Joey from Hawaii, shout out to Sammy from Hawaii, shout out to Steve and Rona from Hawaii, shout out to Edgar and Jenny Cruz from Virginia Beach, shout out to Ian Church from Queensland, Australia, shout out to Manny and Joe from Subic Bay, Philippines, shout out to Anthony Santana from New York, shout out to Richard Lex from New York, shout out to Darren Coates from Montana, shout out to Eugene and Dalia from Cali, shout out to Shane and Sian from Las Piñas, Metro Manila, Philippines, shout out to Jason from Northern Cali, shout out to Chris and Kerry from Northern Cali, shout out to Craig and Lil Luz from Mandaluyong, Metro Manila, Philippines, shout out to Kevin Agi from Arkansas, shout out to Alex and Alicia from Las Vegas, Nevada, shout out to Greg and Vicky from Las Vegas, Nevada, shout out to Steve and Rona from Hawaii, shout out to Trey from Hawaii, shout out to Rick Mauler from Minnesota, shout out to Adrian Robinson from Sydney, Australia, shout out to David Palmer from Italo Beach, Australia, shout out to Paul Richard from New York, shout out to Grant and Brandy from New South Wales, shout out to Iggy and Portia from Minnesota, shout out to Pinito and Alice Garland from LA Cali, shout out to Mac Lovelace from Alabama, shout out to Joseph Pastor from Cali, shout out to Sandra Sigar from Malaysia, shout out to Cowboy from Wyoming, shout out to Gary from South Dakota, shout out to Robert from South Dakota, Shout out to Victor and Joby from Venice, Florida. Shout out to Thomas Ford from New Jersey. Shout out to Single and Body. Shout out to Democrat World in the Philippines. Shout out to CJ Abroad. Shout out to Red Black Expat Philippines. Shout out to Ace Macho Tool. Shout out to Mr. Walker Black. Shout out to Fake Nixie TV. Shout out to Chad Dalsey. Shout out to Adventures Band. Shout out to Big Dreams Philippines. Shout out to Shane and Bernadette Lawson Adventures Vlog. Thank you for watching, Facebook friends.
Okay.
Look at you girl, ang ganda-ganda mo. The way you smile makes me high, parang iba na to. Iba na, nararamdaman. Iba na, nararamdaman. You're the best girl I've ever seen. Kapansin-pansin ang iyong mga tingin. Iba na, nararamdaman. Iba na, nararamdaman. Bakit napaka-perfecto? Kitang-kita tila ba wala man lang kahit isang depekto. Besto, kahit anong anggulo, baka pwede kang makunan personal kahit isang litrato mo. Pampakalma lang kasi nga alam mo bang pag di ka nakikita ay tumataas pagkahibang ko. Tindi mo, ganda mo, ngiti ka nga ulit para naman bukay ang araw ko. Para bang walang makakahigit, panis lahat kahit sino pang makita ko. Shit, ikaw ang pinakabet, baka pwede kang mag-get. Kundi man ayos lang basta makita ka sa net. Tipong pagkagising, sarap agad sa feeling. Tamang tingin sa pic mo kahit yun ka lang kapiling. Di bali nang maging kung ano man ang isipin, kung ikaw naman ang makikita ko sa aking pagising. Look at you girl, ang ganda-ganda mo. The way you smile makes me high, parang iba na to. Iba na, nararamdaman. Iba na, nararamdaman. You're the best girl I've ever seen. Kapansin-pansin ang iyong mga tingin. Iba na, nararamdaman. Iba na, nararamdaman. I just wanna say something for you. You know the boys out there may gusto na sa'yo. Hindi mo matatanggi ang kagandahan mo, lalo pagka naglabas ka pa ng larawan. Kumbaga sa ulam, ikaw yung aking favorite. Kahit anong gamit sa'yo ay fit na fit. Parang malabo nga lang. Kumakanta ka ba baka pwede kita na makapit. Minsan pwede bang makita ka? Kung may pagkakataon ay lalapitan ka. Kung makapagbigay lang ng regalo, kasi pag nangyari ako bobo na ako. Sa dami-dami kong mapapansin, yung ugali mo sa akin ang nagdingin. Iba na, nararamdaman. Iba na, nararamdaman. Wow, wow, sana naman huwag ka sana magbabago dahil malabo ka nang mapalitan. Look at you girl, ang ganda-ganda mo. The way you smile makes me high, parang iba na to. Iba na, nararamdaman. Iba na, nararamdaman. You're the best girl I've ever seen. Kapansin-pansin ang iyong mga tingin. Iba na, nararamdaman. Iba na, nararamdaman. Oh stop, come on scroll down, scroll up. Hintayin ko lang mag-pop. Yung beat mo, automatically heart react yan baby.